He's the first to hit a $400 billion net worth, but this tech titan wants more. I'm talking about Elon Musk.
Elon Musk made his most recent public appearance a family affair. The SpaceX CEO was recently named Time's 2021 Person of the Year.
Griffin Musk has stepped into the spotlight with a secret that people have been eager to hear. For years, he kept matters quiet, brushed aside rumors, and dodged the paparazzi's questions. Now, he's confirmed the very thing everyone suspected, revealing hidden truths. Let's take a look at 20-year-old Griffin's confession that breaks open years of whispering, proving his story is far more twisty than anyone ever imagined. Surrounded by ambition and spotlight. Griffin Musk came into the world on April 15, 2004, as one half of a set of twins. Even as a toddler, he occupied an environment buzzing with ambition, since his father, Elon Musk, was busy transforming Tesla from a niche electric car startup into a global phenomenon.
Elon Musk has launched rockets, built a major car company, bought Twitter and turned it into X, planted a chip in the human brain, and helped Donald Trump win the presidential election. What next? What will Elon Musk do next?
His mother, Justine Wilson, who wrote fiction, maintained a creative atmosphere at home. On one hand, there were bedtime stories and sprinklers in the yard. On the other, there were constant reminders that his father's public profile was skyrocketing. Cameras and news already hovered around the family. Tesla's earliest models captured attention from tech enthusiasts, and SpaceX was preparing to launch rockets in ways the world had rarely seen. Visitors to the house came armed with questions about Elon's futuristic plans. Griffin, absorbed in toy blocks and squeaky plush animals, nonetheless recognized that grown-ups spent a lot of time talking about his father's achievements and controversies. His mother worked hard to keep the household structured and somewhat calm, but it was tough when each new Tesla reveal or rocket test brought fresh waves of media curiosity. Before Griffin and his twin turned 2, the family was joined by 3 more siblings, triplets named Kai, Saxon, and Damien. The home overflowed with strollers, baby bottles, and a swirl of high-profile business calls. The children's squeals overlapped with discussions about rocket parts and battery chemistry. Weekdays featured daycare pickups and toddler meltdowns, side by side with Elon's frantic schedule.
The US state is home to many of Elon Musk's businesses: SpaceX, Boring, Tesla. They're all headquartered in Texas. So Musk wants to build a town for his employees and call it Star Base.
The result was a blend of parental ambition, continuous press interest, and the joys and challenges of raising 5 young children close in age. Even when he was too young to piece together every detail, Griffin sensed that normal family life often collided with extraordinary happenings, a growing tension at home. By the time Griffin reached school age, tension built in the household. Elon and Justine had different approaches to money, parenting, and daily priorities. One parent emphasized efficiency, big goals, and strict timelines. The other focused on nurturing creativity and emotional growth. When Elon rushed out the door for business, Justine read the children bedtime stories and made sure everyone got personal affection. Griffin learned to adapt, depending on who was around. He sometimes played quietly with coloring books by his mother's desk, while at other times he listened to Elon animatedly describe rocket plans or electric drivetrain breakthroughs. Disagreements appeared in subtle ways: hushed voices behind closed doors, a frown when Elon missed a school recital, or a quick apology from Justine when she had to handle evening tasks on her own. Griffin paid attention to these small signs. Although his parents tried to shield him from adult conflicts, it was difficult to stay oblivious in a household that felt stretched thin. Family chores, new product launches, writing deadlines, and multiple toddlers combined into an intense day-to-day routine. Outside the home, tabloids latched onto any rumor involving the Musks. Short articles mentioned how Justine might be frustrated with Elon's all-consuming work, or how Elon balanced fatherhood with inventing futuristic technology. Griffin spotted paparazzi lenses as the family entered restaurants or picked up groceries. These glimpses of sudden camera flashes unsettled him. He observed how his mother forced a polite smile, or how Elon walked briskly to avoid questions. Friends at school sometimes asked if his father really planned to send 1 million people to Mars, or whether his parents argued about money. Even as a child, Griffin realized that entire online communities excitedly dissected the Musk household's choices, parents splitting and new family landscapes. In 2008, the undercurrent of household tension became official with news of Elon and Justine's divorce.
By the time we divorced, we were living in a house in Bel Air, with no roommates, and a miniature dachshund who still was not house-trained.
Griffin was about 4, his twin the same age, and the triplets were just toddlers. The split shook the family's structure as Elon and Justine arranged co-parenting details. One household focused on a calmer atmosphere with Justine, while the other revolved around recurring visits to see Elon, who organized glimpses of Tesla factories or talked about rocket landings. Griffin traveled between these two environments, adjusting to each parent's routines and rules. The media coverage surrounding the divorce exploded. Business columns highlighted how Elon juggled major tech ventures and personal strife, while lifestyle sections speculated about Justine's perspective as a mother to multiple small children. Griffin found the entire ordeal confusing. Family holidays shifted location, new babysitters stepped in, and arguments flared about child-rearing approaches. He heard the word settlement repeated in whispered adult discussions, yet only understood that both parents wanted custody. Dinners at Elon's place might include leftover rocket models on the kitchen counter, while dinners with Justine followed a gentler schedule of reading and recipe experiments. Griffin and his siblings sensed the emotional toll. He asked his mother questions about why Dad wasn't around as much, or why the family had to schedule everything in advance. Although Justine provided gentle explanations, the entire topic felt uncomfortable. Elon also made attempts to spend purposeful time with his children, sometimes taking them backstage at Tesla events or letting them peek at prototype vehicles. Griffin liked these visits, yet noticed how quickly his father's phone rang with new notifications requiring immediate attention. Elon's drive to revolutionize industries had the side effect of overshadowing normal father-son conversations, the bonds of siblings and their own personalities. Griffin's role as the older twin emerged more distinctly after the divorce. He tried to show kindness to the younger triplets, often stepping in when they argued over toys or guiding them around the house. Each of his siblings had distinct temperaments. Kai was talkative, Saxon had a fascination for dismantling and rebuilding objects, while Damien gravitated toward quiet reading. Griffin became a reference point for them, as he was old enough to demonstrate how to tie shoelaces or stash candy without getting caught. He shared a special connection with his twin, at the time called Xavier. They held the same birthday, swapped stories if they felt anxious, and confided in each other about the chaos of jumping between parents. Still, the twin dynamic included friendly rivalry. Small arguments about whose turn it was to choose a movie occasionally spiraled into bickering. Griffin's mother stepped in, reminding them to settle disputes calmly. These disputes usually fizzled quickly, replaced by collaborative play or group pranks on the triplets. Despite sibling bonds, each child handled the adjusting family landscape differently. Griffin tended to internalize worries, bottling up concerns about the divorce or the spotlight. He found outlets in drawing little comics or building small contraptions from random household items. Meanwhile, others expressed themselves in more direct ways, shouting or refusing to get in the car for routine visitation. Teachers at their schools recognized that the Musk children were grappling with the stress unique to a high-profile split. Some classmates teased them about being the Tesla kids, while others tried to befriend them in hopes of gleaning inside celebrity information. Griffin got used to sorting real friendships from superficial ones. Early teen years woven with tension. As Griffin approached his early teens, he gained a clearer view of the complicated dynamics around him. He witnessed how his father's bold public statements about colonizing Mars, Hyperloop travel, or controversial comments on social media occasionally strained relationships within the household. Some siblings embraced Elon's grand vision, excitedly imagining a future in space. Others grew uneasy with how the media latched onto everything Elon tweeted. Griffin moved between these opinions, understanding his father's love for innovation while also longing for a more ordinary routine.
How much does it cost? Now, it may sound like social media banter, but this is exactly how he bought Twitter 2 years ago. Needless to say, it has triggered speculation.
There were times when Elon invited the children to Tesla events, where prototypes were unveiled under bright stage lights. Cameras and microphones lined the venue's perimeter. Although visitors clamored to see Elon, some recognized Griffin and tried to pull him into conversation about autopilot or next-generation batteries. It made him feel scrutinized for knowledge he never claimed to have. Even a polite shrug could land him in a fan's social media post with dozens of speculative comments about what Griffin knew. While living with Justine, Griffin relaxed more. She encouraged him to immerse himself in creative writing or painting. She also took the children on simpler excursions, like road trips to scenic spots. Griffin balanced these calmer moments with the overarching pressure of being a teenager in a family that never fully escaped the limelight. A single tweet from Elon could ignite global debate, overshadowing Griffin's own daily achievements, like finishing a tough math project or joining a small robotics club at school. Vivian's name change and its ripple effects. When Griffin's twin reached age 18, she made a public legal filing to change her name to Vivian Jenna Wilson. That filing included a request to remove all official ties to the Musk surname. Online communities and tabloids immediately devoured the story. Headlines speculated about immense rifts, referencing personal statements in court documents indicating a desire to separate from Elon. Griffin felt the impact directly. Texts from acquaintances and distant family members poured in, asking if he was taking the same route or if he had cut ties with his father. Rumors swirled that the twins were on opposite sides of a hidden family battle. Some people insisted that Griffin secretly agreed with Vivian, but remained silent for the sake of avoiding conflict. Others insisted that he stood firmly with his father and disapproved of the name change. Griffin refused to issue any clarifying statements. Instead, he continued living his life, maintaining contact with his twin on private channels while still spending time with Elon. The drama sharpened during public gatherings. Certain relatives tiptoed around the topic of Vivian's decision, not wanting to spark arguments. The triplets, now teenagers, showed curiosity about how the name change might affect the family dynamic. Elon, who was used to intense media focus, treated the situation matter-of-factly in private, but that did not stop countless articles from analyzing every aspect, navigating new half-siblings and an expanding clan. While the drama around Vivian's name change unfolded, Griffin also found himself in a household that seemed to add new members every few years. His father had more children with different partners, including musician Grimes. This expanded the Musk family tree. Half-siblings like XAEA12 and Exa Dark Sidereal, nicknamed X and Y, brought boisterous energy to gatherings. There were strollers and baby bottles once again, reminiscent of Griffin's earliest memories. Public fascination with each newly named child skyrocketed, so large family get-togethers turned into orchestrated events. Coordinating that many siblings, especially those who lived in separate homes, created scheduling headaches. Some gatherings happened at spacious rental properties near holiday destinations. Griffin mingled with older siblings, showing them phone pictures of college campuses, while younger half-siblings crawled under tables or toddled around with wide-eyed curiosity. Camera phones inevitably appeared, capturing brief glimpses of the Musk children reuniting. Fans of Elon Musk debated whether these half-siblings signaled a new era in the family, or whether existing children felt overshadowed. Griffin shrugged off these theories, though he did experience occasional discomfort. He felt like the household never got an extended period of stability before a wave of press coverage erupted again, spurred by a new baby's unique name or a surprising photograph of Elon pushing a stroller. It was hard enough maintaining relationships with the siblings who were close in age, let alone finding ways to bond with newcomers still learning to speak. Paparazzi, rumors, and private turmoil. College-aged Griffin quickly realized that paparazzi had no qualms about snapping pictures the moment he stepped onto public sidewalks or walked near a campus building. Bloggers and tabloids guessed which university he attended, sometimes claiming they had official tips on his major or extracurricular activities. Strangers approached him at college hangouts, occasionally asking for insider details on Tesla's stocks or a potential trip to see a SpaceX facility. He could not escape the swirl of rumors, no matter how low-key he tried to remain. Meanwhile, the continued drama around Vivian's name change played out in online forums. Threads debated whether Griffin privately supported her stance or remained loyal to Elon. Personal events, such as birthdays or smaller family celebrations, turned into clandestine operations. Relatives worried that a single posted photo might result in a new wave of speculation about which sibling stood with whom. That pressure often made get-togethers tense. Griffin sometimes wanted to skip gatherings altogether, just to avoid the glare of possible cameras or reporters lurking nearby. Even routine interactions with his father had an undercurrent of stress. Elon's tweets spurred major controversies, from statements about cryptocurrency to commentary on social issues. Griffin would receive texts from classmates or casual friends who asked if the father-son relationship was crumbling or if Elon's statements caused friction. He found it exhausting to field these messages. Constant speculation about his emotions left him feeling like the entire internet tried to script his life. Behind the scenes, he vented his frustrations to a few trusted friends. He admitted that while Elon's large-scale accomplishments were inspiring, the associated drama sometimes overshadowed his own journey. He also worried about his mother, who occasionally posted introspective thoughts online, but generally stayed away from direct feuds. Clashes with fatherly expectations. Although Griffin maintained a cordial relationship with Elon, tensions occasionally flared. During extended visits or dinner conversations, Elon might talk about colonizing Mars or improving birth rates to preserve civilization. Griffin appreciated the scope of these ideas, but he did not always share the same urgency. He sometimes wanted to focus on smaller-scale issues, such as local conservation or mental health in social media communities. Whenever he expressed these opinions, Elon gave a logical counterpoint, pointing to data about climate threats or the importance of advancing technology. These discussions ranged from polite disagreements to mild confrontations. At times, Elon's unwavering determination felt overwhelming, especially when he implied that all Musk children should think big and push humanity forward. Griffin's siblings, including the triplets, formed varied stances. Some saw Elon's vision as thrilling, while others found it stifling. Griffin hovered in the middle, torn between admiration for his father's groundbreaking work and an urge to shape personal priorities that might not center on next-generation rockets or evolving electric cars. Days when father and son found common ground felt refreshing. They might watch a movie that had nothing to do with technology or chat about books on psychology. These peaceful moments reminded Griffin that Elon's ambitions did not always overshadow his ability to relate as a parent. However, the drama rarely let up for long. After a small family dinner, someone online would inevitably mention a cryptic tweet about artificial intelligence or Elon's plan to build entire communities on Mars. Arguments and speculation would stream in, overshadowing the normalcy they had just shared. Griffin learned to compartmentalize, holding on to the calmer aspects of their bond while leaving the sensational headlines at the door. From giant stone balls in Costa Rica to a strange, unreadable book, these discoveries make us wonder about the people and stories behind them. Some are ancient artifacts, while others are incredible creations that still baffle experts. Archaeologists have discovered many mysteries that no one was supposed to see. What are these mysteries, and how were they discovered? In this video, we will look into mysteries discovered by archaeologists that no one was supposed to see. Stone spheres in Costa Rica. Scattered across the Diquís Delta in southern Costa Rica are these giant stone spheres. Some have been hanging around since around 600 years after Christ. They're called las bolas, or the balls, by locals, and they were crafted by an ancient pre-Columbian civilization. Most of them are made from gabbro, a rock formed from molten magma.
There are over 300 petrospheres all throughout Costa Rica that are known about anyways. Now, the majority of those are made out of gabbro, which is a type of magma rock.
And experts think these folks carved the spheres into perfect shapes using smaller stones as tools. Pretty impressive, right? Now here's where it gets more interesting. Nobody really knows what these spheres were for. Some say they were used to map the stars, while others think they marked important places.
The theory of the stone balls is that they were somehow used as star maps.
The truth? it's a total mystery. When the Chibchan people disappeared after the Spanish conquest, they took the secret of these spheres with them. Anthropologist John W. Hoops said it best in 2016. This is one historical mystery we might never solve, and this may be because we were never supposed to know. Could they really have been ancient star maps or just fancy decorations? Stick around, because the next list might just blow your mind. Antikythera mechanism. Imagine stumbling upon a real-life ancient gadget that would make even Indiana Jones jealous. That's the Antikythera mechanism for you.
Now, when they found that ancient Greek computer thing, what is that called?
The Antikythera mechanism.
Yes.
Yeah.
A bronze, gear-filled wonder pulled from a 2,000 years old Greek shipwreck near the island of Antikythera. This shoebox-sized relic is like an ancient Swiss watch, packed with interlocking gears and mysterious symbols etched all over its surface. Initially, folks thought it was just a fancy navigational tool, like an old-school GPS for sailors, but as archaeologists dug deeper, they realized it was actually a super intricate astronomical calendar. This thing could predict celestial events like eclipses and track the lunar calendar with mind-blowing precision.
You then have a crank that you use to rotate to a particular date that then puts everything in the position where they're going to be in the sky. So therefore, you have a device that is calculating both space and time.
In fact, it's so advanced that nothing else like it shows up for another 1,000 years, and the plot thickens. Recent studies suggest that the Antikythera mechanism might have had a lunar calendar with 354 holes, aligning with the Greek lunar year, rather than the 365 days solar calendar as previously thought. Cleopatra's tomb. Cleopatra VII was the last ruler of the Ptolemaic dynasty, which ran Egypt between 305 and 30 years before Christ. She's famous for her sharp mind, legendary beauty, and dramatic love life. She even had kids with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony. But there's one big mystery about her that still confuses historians. Where was she buried? Cleopatra and Mark Antony both took their own lives after losing to Octavian at the Battle of Actium in 31 years before Christ.
Under the command of Marcus Vipsanius, Agrippa has won a decisive victory over Queen Cleopatra and her slave, Mark Antony.
They were buried together in a tomb described by Plutarch, around the years 45 to 120 after Christ. As lofty and beautiful and close to a temple for the goddess Isis. Sounds pretty fancy, right? But here's the catch. No one knows where this tomb is.
No one knows what happens to her after she dies, or where she's buried.
And even if someone does find it, there's a good chance it could be empty. Grave robbers were super active in ancient times, so archaeologists think the treasure might already be long gone. Qin Shi Huang's tomb. In 1974, farmers in China's Shanxi province made a huge discovery, a life-size terracotta army built for Emperor Qin Shi Huang, 259 years before Christ to 210 years before Christ.
This is the Terracotta Army. 8,000 warriors buried over 2,000 years ago. One of the greatest wonders of the world.
These incredible clay figures were made to protect China's first emperor in the afterlife.
Originally in ancient China, like 3,000 years ago, they believed the afterlife.
But while we know a lot about the army, what's still a mystery is where Qin Shi Huang himself is buried, or what treasures might be hidden in his tomb. A pyramid-shaped mausoleum is located about a mile away from the Terracotta Army, but no one has entered it yet. This tomb is said to be the most lavish ever built in China, with ancient texts describing an underground palace and even a kingdom around it. The tomb has a network of caves and a fancy drainage system, but there's a problem. The tomb contains dangerous levels of mercury, so archaeologists aren't sure when or if they'll have the technology to safely dig it up. What treasures lie inside? That remains a mystery. The next list is actually more than a mystery, and it will blow your mind. Shroud of Turin. Perhaps no archaeological discovery sparks more debate than the mysterious Shroud of Turin, which many people believe to be the burial cloth of Jesus Christ.
I think we can be certain that this is the burial wrapping of Jesus.
This long piece of twill fabric has traces of blood and a dark imprint that looks like a man's body. The Catholic Church officially recorded the shroud's existence in the year 1353 when it appeared in a church in Lirey, France. But the legend of the shroud goes all the way back to the years 30 or 33. According to the story, the cloth was first moved from Judea, now southern Palestine, to Edessa, Turkey, and later to Constantinople, now called Istanbul. After Crusaders sacked Constantinople in the year 1204, the shroud was moved to Athens, Greece, where it stayed until around 1225. In the 1980s, researchers finally got their hands on the cloth and used radiocarbon dating to figure out its true age. They concluded that the shroud was actually created between the years 1260 and 1390. In other words, the scientists believed the cloth was probably a medieval fake.
Pretty obvious fake from the Middle Ages.
But some critics argue that the scientists may have dated the newer parts of the shroud that were stitched in centuries after Jesus' death, which could explain why the shroud seems newer than it really is. Voynich manuscript. One of the most famous books of the 20th century was one that no one could understand. The Voynich manuscript, found by an antique bookseller in 1912, is a 250-page book written in a strange alphabet and filled with odd illustrations, from female nudes to medicinal plants and zodiac signs.
What you might not picture is a book filled with whimsical illustrations of nude women in bathtubs. Bathtubs everywhere. These, along with drawings of star-shaped flowers and wild green vines, they're all kind of tucked inside the pages. The mysterious book has been divided into sections by historians.
Currently kept at Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, this mysterious book is about 600 years old and is believed to have been written in Central Europe. Some scholars think it's just a Renaissance-era prank, full of gibberish, but others argue it's written in a language we don't know yet. A few even believe the manuscript hides a secret code waiting to be cracked. In 2014, Stephen Bax, a professor of applied linguistics at the University of Bedfordshire in England, claimed he had decoded 14 characters from the book.
And in particular, I tried to find patterns in the script linked with pictures, particular pictures, which might give us a clue to proper names in the script.
Bax suggests that the manuscript is likely a nature-focused treatise written in a Near Eastern or Asian language. King Tut's death. Few archaeological mysteries excite people as much as the story of the Egyptian boy Pharaoh Tutankhamun. In 1922, British Egyptologist Howard Carter discovered King Tut's tomb, and ever since, rumors of a pharaoh's curse that killed those who enter the tomb have spread. But the real mysteries surrounding King Tut's tomb are even more fascinating than any curse. Archaeologists believe King Tut died suddenly, possibly from an infection or injuries from a chariot accident. This could explain why his mummy was in such poor condition when it was found. It seems that King Tut's body may have caught fire after his tomb was sealed and his body was mummified. Experts think the linen wrappings, soaked in flammable embalming oils, may have reacted with the air's oxygen and caused a chain reaction, setting the body on fire and cooking it at about 390 degrees Fahrenheit. This strange event could be due to a rushed burial that led to a botched embalming. This hurried burial raises another question. It's possible that King Tut's tomb was originally meant for someone else, and other undiscovered mummies could be hidden in there too. What mysteries can beat this? Stay tuned because we've got more in store. The Rosetta Stone. In 1799, during Napoleon's Egyptian campaign, French soldiers stumbled upon a stone slab near Rosetta, Egypt. This discovery, known as the Rosetta Stone, was inscribed with a decree issued in 196 years before the Common Era during the reign of Ptolemy V Epiphanes. The decree was written in 3 scripts: Greek, Demotic, and Egyptian hieroglyphs.
It was incredibly difficult, and frustratingly, the translations aren't exact. There are differences between each of the 3 texts here, but once one piece was cracked, there was a way.
The presence of these 3 languages on the stone provided the key to deciphering Egyptian hieroglyphs, which had been a mystery for centuries. Jean-François Champollion, a French scholar, successfully cracked the code in the 1820s by comparing the Greek text with the hieroglyphs. Now housed in the British Museum, it remains a symbol of linguistic and historical breakthroughs and continues to draw millions of visitors each year. The Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant is a gold-encrusted wooden chest that, according to the Book of Exodus, contains the stone tablets of the Ten Commandments. In ancient times, this sacred box was kept in the First Temple, a Jewish place of worship in Jerusalem. But the First Temple was destroyed in 587 before Christ by a Babylonian army led by King Nebuchadnezzar II, according to the Hebrew Bible. The fate of the Ark remains unknown. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.